Man, I look awful. Man, this is pure crime to walk around looking like this. Hard to a shave, but business. This right here. I'm sure that you can read. It says Dale County Court Services Program, the Court Referral Program Participant Handbook. It's not necessarily the content of the book here just yet that I'm going to discuss, but the things that I know as far as in an immediate sense has to be took care of. Alright, the 18th, I went to my first court referral meeting on a case of possession of marijuana second degree. Here's one thing that's of interest before I even tell you the rest of it all. You must attend your scheduled monthly monitor appointment on the scheduled date. If you do not have your fees at the time of the appointment, you will not be seen by the CRO, Court Referral. This is per the State of Alabama Administrative Office of Courts and not Dale County Court Services Program. So in other words, no matter how much you try, and if you ain't got the money, they do not want to see you. I've come in there before, you know, in years past without money, and they said, oh, bye-bye. You know, they've got no interest in you or your well-being outside you having the money. For some reason or another, you don't appear on their little scheduled date. The makeup date is for emergencies only. The only excuse for not appearing on the scheduled date is I am in jail or in the hospital. And if you're in jail, you know, you're fucked and you're fitting to stay there for a long time. You'll be charged a $10 fee if you attend this appointment and do not provide a doctor's excuse or proof that you were in jail at the time of the appointment. So in other words, if you wasn't in the hospital or jail, you got to pay them $10 for their makeup date. But that's beside the point. Here's the point that I wanted to come to. This is what I have to do. Alright. I have to go through court referral level 3 and level 1. After I get done with my level 3, then I got to turn right back around and do level 1, or part of level 1. Monitoring sessions for 12 months. That means I go in and pay $30. Well, pay about $60 all told. $30 just to walk in the motherfucker. Then $30 for a drug test you don't want to take. You have to pay for that too. AA, of course, is free. You know, and what kills me is, you know, the government is telling me to do all this, but yet they're sending me to a faith-based organization. How does that work? They tell you at AA that you cannot stop using drugs or alcohol unless you give yourself over to God. You know, now, I am not, you know, I'm not an atheist, and I don't consider myself a creature of sacrilege. But I feel like that a person that is an atheist can just as easily get off of drugs if he or she takes a mind without turning oneself over to God. I think that's a kind of a ridiculous thing that and I've got to attend two of them anyway. I get all this. All right. Notes. This is what I got to do. Attend a substance abuse treatment assessment appointment with Spectre Care. Complete any programs recommended by them. Upon completion of treatment, enroll in, attend, and complete the level 1 alcohol and drug education program with Insight Treatment. That means that once I get through completing my, you know, treatment drug classes, both of these things are drug classes. Basically, you sit around in a classroom and discuss your problems, and they tell you about how bad drugs and stuff are. After I finish whatever Spectre Care has to offer with me, then I have to turn around and do Insight Treatment Program, which is the Court Referral. Court Referral, basically, it's their version of the same thing. Basically, where you sit down at a bunch of desks, or you sit down with a bunch of people and talk about your problems with drugs or whatever. I got to turn right around, and I got to do it again with the Insight Program, which is right there at the Court Referral office. So I gotta, let's see here, okay. Attend and complete a minimum of 12 monthly monitors with the Court Referral Officer as scheduled by the Court Referral Officer. That means that at least one time every month, I'm going to have to go to Court Referral, pay the $30, and $30 for the drug test, which is a total of $60. And then, of course, they could, in addition, call me any old time again. Attend and complete 2 Alcoholics Anonymous meetings or Narcotics Anonymous meetings per week, and provide proof of attendance to the Court Referral Officer at the monthly monitor appointment. This means that I got to go to AA twice a week. It has to be done 2 times a week. You can't just wait till such and such a time, like towards the end of the month, and then go to all your AA meetings at once or anything like that, like a lot of folks used to do. Nope, it's got to be 2 a week. That cuts that, time, out of your schedule. But and back to the previous thing, what they're going to do is they're going to hook me up where I've got to go to these drug classes 2 times a week. So they may or may not fall on the same day as the Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, and they're most likely not going to. They're going to fall on a different day, which means that I'll have to spend, an hour or 2 there, twice a week, and then an hour at Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, not to mention the fact that I don't have necessarily a dedicated mode of transportation, and, nonetheless, it's going to take time, to get back and forth to these places. I got to take this little sheet with me, and I got to have the person that's in charge of the meeting sign it and say that I was there. You are required to call the caller code line at 334-774-1278, extension 225, Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. to check the caller of the day. And I was told by Miss Waters, who I reckon is my Court Referral Officer, that if I called and by 12 o'clock they had not announced that caller, that it was still given a different date or something, that there just wasn't going to be no callers called. So, and I called about every 5 minutes from 8 o'clock this morning right up until noon o'clock, and they didn't change it. It still said Thursday, May 19th, so told me I didn't have no callers for today. If your caller is called, my caller is black, you must be here by 4:30 for drug screening. If you do not come in, you will be failure to appear for this appointment. Okay. Goal date to finish recommendations, 5/18/2012. That's May 18th, 2012. At that time, I should be more or less a free citizen with no more legal obligations unless I still do not have my fines paid. The fines being paid is what getting my driver's license back hinges upon. If I don't get them fines paid, I don't get my driver's license back. It's just simple as that. Besides the $30 and the $30 that I've got to pay, which is $60, which is in addition to the $50 a month I also have to have, so I've got, let's see, that's $110 a month just going to that. It's also the thing that I've got to do with Spectre Care. Them appointments and what they're going to set me up with, I have to pay them for those too. What kills me is the fact that they want you to, it's going to eat up a ton of time every week going to these 4 different classes that I'm going to end up having to take. But yet they want you to work to make the money to pay them, but they take your driver's license away first thing. At a rate of $50 a month, roughly $1,700, that comes out to being something like 3 years before I even have an idea of having a driver's license. In fact, I could think of some way to either talk them into letting me pay part of them fines and then get my driver's license, or anything, or if I could talk somebody into, you know, giving me the money or loaning me the money or whatever to pay that off, I could get a driver's license again, and then I wouldn't have to worry about missing any of these meetings and stuff. You know, I could tote myself back and forth to it, because it takes plenty of time out of everybody else's schedule to have to tote me around and stuff like that. It's aggravation. It's nothing but aggravation for everybody else and for me. And if I miss one of these things, what do you know? Guess what they do? They tack a whole other month onto your shit and make you pay, you know, what do they call it? They call it a something else fine. Either way, it's more money you got to pay, in addition to, you know, tacking more time on you. Theoretically, a person could spend the rest of their life on this program, and you know, it ain't no wonder people don't complete it all the time.